The European Parliament in Strasbourg. Prime Minister Donald Tusk presented his vision of the Polish presidency to members of the European Parliament. The speech, which was full of generalities to gladden the hearts of liberal Eurocrats, was interspersed with surprising insertions. For example, quotes from John Paul II.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid. Be not afraid, we heard, and they were a source of strength. So I would like to repeat it today, quoting these words again. Be not afraid. Everything will play out in your heads. Everything will play out in our hearts. Paeans to Donald Tusk were delivered by his close associate Manfred Weber, who did not hide his joy at the change of power in Poland.
You ended this government. You brought rule of law back to Poland. You unlocked 137 billion of European funds for the Polish people, and you have brought Poland back to the decisive tables in the world and in Europe. And Kaczynski can now peacefully retire, dear friends.
Weber's excitement was not shared by everyone. Many MEPs pointed out Donald Tusk's empty words. Every day Europeans are living worse and worse, and you come to Strasbourg and are unable to give a single concrete measure, not a single strategy, not a single vision. You talk about the spirit of Europe. Are you a preacher? Because Montesquieu, you are certainly not. There are no ideals, no vision, no strategy. During your rule, Nord Stream 2 was created and you advocated a reset with Russia, and now you pretend to be a great enemy of Putin. Finally, when you were president of the European Council, you did absolutely nothing for Poland, and the only thing you got out of it was the UK out of the European Union. One of the most frequently repeated accusations was that the Polish Prime Minister was pro-German. You may pretend to be a rational and reasonable politician here, but you are a hypocritical fraud. Ursula von der Leyen anointed you as Polish Prime Minister, and since then you have been acting like a German governor in Poland. Apparently, something is up, since even a German MEP addressed Tusk with these words. Mr. Prime Minister Tusk, you probably understand it better in German, and so I will do you the pleasure. Politicians like you are the biggest threat to Europe. When you were in opposition, you attacked the Polish government with the help of the European Union. You are destroying the rule of law in Poland. The opposition is stifled, and inconvenient court rulings are ignored. You are introducing censorship to the internet. It is looking more and more like a regime. Your violation of the law is unprecedented, and the European Union tolerates it, because you have always been the most polite European official. Since the 13th of December 2023, Donald Tusk and his appointees have placed themselves above the law, illegally taking over more public institutions, financially persecuting the opposition, extractive arrests, ignoring court rulings, and all with the tacit acquiescence of Brussels. His rule is a daily criminal chronicle. And, of course, this abuse of power, disobedience to the law, disobedience to court rulings, in no way prevents him from dressing up as a law enforcer every day. He learned it right here, from Mr. Reinders, who, as it turned out, went to launder money in the morning so that in the afternoon he could instruct Poland on how to obey the law. However, Eurocrats of the likes of Manfred Weber and Ursula von der Leyen, who are Tusk's political backers, are turning a blind eye to the introduction of Russian standards in Poland. On Tuesday, a conference was held in the European Parliament building in Strasbourg to make European politicians aware of the scale of lawlessness in our country. 30 armed police officers with crowbars burst into my office in order to destroy the secure cabinets in the office, extract files, and deprive me of the opportunity to work, because the judges involved in these files were all affiliated with the current power camp. Although Donald Tusk has openly announced that he will break the law in Poland, he has faced no consequences. In order to ensure impunity for members of the current government, the National Prosecutor's Office was illegally taken over. An illegal person is currently at the head of the National Prosecutor's Office. Prosecutors are being intimidated. There are some reports where they are mentioned by name, which causes discontent and is a threat to their personal safety. There is chaos. Female Justice Ministry officials who were held in detention for months also told their story. This was to get them to testify, incriminating the former leadership of the ministry. From the very first moments of my detention, disproportionate repression and harassment were applied to me. Activities lasting several hours without providing me with food and rest. The possibility to use the toilet only under supervision and observation of men. This is how the first days of my detention looked. The unlawful treatment of women was confirmed by the spokesman for human rights. Of course, no consequences followed. This is a situation that is so bizarre and unprecedented that, having been a neutral civil servant for 20 years, who cooperated with all sorts of political opinions, suddenly the current authorities decided to use me as a tool in a political vendetta against my superiors of the previous ones. It is hard to resist the impression that were similar crimes to be committed by a right-wing government, the European Parliament and mainstream media would strike apocalyptic tones. As long as the reins of power in Poland are held by Donald Tusk, the topic is gone. It would be hard to find better proof of the double standards of the European Union.
Dziękuję. Thank you.
Maciej Strug, Republika.